Chukma, Saho Chippewa Kyla Molina, Chickasha Saya, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Hello, my name is Kyla. I identify as Chickasaw and I'm from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I had the best, most fortunate experience nursing my son for 2 years and 2 months. We had a great experience that had challenges, but also had maximum rewards. One of the biggest challenges I had was my son was born preterm, and so we weren't really sure how my supply would come in, and so I was very fortunate that the nurses encouraged me to begin pumping right away. So almost an hour after he was born, I began pumping to try to get that supply to come in, and it worked, and it lasted me for 2.5 years. And so around 4 weeks old, I had to return to school. So those were some of the other challenges, is that I was a full-time mom, working full-time and going to school. And so returning to school, I pumped there as well, and I stored that milk, and he was able to receive all the benefits even from that pumped milk. Some moms might prefer pumping or nursing, one versus the other, but I was fortunate enough to do both. I was able to pump when I was away from him, and then he still latched. And sometimes that's not the experience for everyone, and that's okay. I've heard of children that will wait until their mom gets home from work to be able to nurse, and I think that's beautiful as well. So I think you have to determine what works for you and what works for your family. So whether that's pumping exclusively, nursing exclusively, doing both, substituting with formula when it's needed or when it's recommended by your doctor. There are so many different options to be able to provide your child with that sacred first medicine that our bodies just naturally create for them. One thing about milk supply is that it can kind of fluctuate, and so some weeks I had a lot of supply and other weeks I had a minimal supply, and those things are impacted by what's going on at work, stress, your hormone levels, when your cycle returns, all those different things. And so if you find yourself in a situation like that, I would just encourage you to continue. If it's something that you want to do, just continue. And what I have learned is that my supply does return after some of those stressful or life-changing events. It just takes a little bit of determination to continue that process. I feel like I had some concerns about would it hurt, what would it feel like, how would people view me, and thankfully all of those concerns just kind of fell out of the water, and it became a pretty natural experience for me and my son. I didn't find it very painful. When I first began nursing, I had great nurse staff and great lactation specialists that I could reach out to, that if I was feeling any discomfort or I wasn't sure of how it was working, they were very open with providing me feedback, providing me resources to be able to help in any way possible. Another thing that I found very helpful was having an online support community. So following other moms or non-gender conforming or non-binary individuals that were breast or chest feeding, and just looking at them and seeing what they're doing and taking their recommendations if they had any. I felt like having an online support was really helpful, because during those first couple weeks you might feel a little isolated because you're at home taking care of a newborn child and you're tired and all these wonderful things that come along with that. So I think having an online support community was really helpful. I think just doing what works for you, not comparing yourself to someone else's supply or what someone else is doing, but just doing what works for you and your family, and really talking to your significant other, if you have one that's going to be along this journey with you, about how they can support you, whether that be bringing you a pillow or bringing you water or just holding the baby until you're situated or ready to feed them. I think having that support can be really helpful. And even if it's not a partner, if you have a mother or a grandparent around, just kind of telling them your plan, that your plan is to chest feed, and how that's going to look like for you and how they can support you on that journey.